Hey, permanent weight loss fan, Pete Weintraub here, and today we're going to go over how to survive the holiday season without gaining weight. So, if you're here in the States, many of you are, then we experienced Thanksgiving yesterday, and Thanksgiving is probably the biggest binge eating holiday of the year. We eat turkeys, stuffing, mashed potatoes, casseroles, a whole bunch of stuff, apple pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie. You get the gist. And obviously, between Thanksgiving and New Year's, there's a lot of documented research and a lot of studies done that show that people gain weight and they don't ever really put the weight off. And starting yesterday, Thanksgiving here in the States, or around this time anyway, Christmas decorations are going up. We got the trees, the wreaths, all that stuff. And we're just simply going to have a screw it mentality until the new year, whether you have holiday parties that you got to go to at work, whether you have some friends who are going to have holiday parties between now and New Year's, whether you're attending a New Year's party, whatever the case may be, we're going to be experiencing quite a bit of temptation this holiday season. And it's kind of rooted in our consumerism, right? Because between now and the end of the year, we say, screw it, whatever budgets we have for ourselves financially go out the window. The ways we look at nutrition and taking care of ourselves also go out the window. So it's definitely something that needs some attention, because this is something that a lot of people who are looking to lose weight and who are looking to keep it off struggle with. So I have two really simple tricks, tips, however you want to phrase it, that should help you. And hopefully you're able to take one into heart. And because you're in this group and you got my Thanksgiving recipe guide free, if you didn't, I'm going to post a comment in the link here, or a link in the comments here. Sorry, dyslexic moment for you guys. And that'll enable you to at least look at it and see, you know what? We can make recipes that taste great, that are delicious, so we don't feel like we're missing out. We can have our cake and eat it too, but it's not going to contain a lot of the artificial, sugary, and grainy ingredients that lead to excess weight gain and poor health. So first off, you got to prepare. In most cases, I doubt you're going to be bombarded, like, yeah, we're going to a holiday party, and you had no idea it was coming. Usually, if you work in an office environment or in any environment, really, you'll get a notice, hey, in 2-3 weeks, we're having a holiday party on this night or during the workday on this day, and here's what's going to be happening. And then you can prepare. A lot of people like to bring in a dish. They like to make something, contribute something to a party, whether it's work-related, friend-related, or family-related. And I highly recommend that if you want to stay on track, that you prep for this. And how do you prep for it? Well, there's a couple of different things that you can do. Number one, I often tell this to any client or group member I have when they have an event coming up, whether it's a wedding, they're traveling on a business trip, and there's not exactly a ton of healthy fare in their area. Just do some preliminary research. You know the date and the time that this is happening. Bring some healthy snacks with you to work. You know, a handful or two of organic raw nuts, seeds. That's pretty good. A low glycemic fruit, also a good idea. Have that before the party so that when you walk in, you're not ravenous, and all the hors d'oeuvres and the holiday cookies or the, whatever it is that really tempts you this time of year, that's not really going to tempt you nearly as much. And obviously, you're probably not going to be peer pressured into it. I haven't really seen too much of that in my lifetime. Maybe the people you're around may be different, but bring those with you. Eat beforehand, whether it's a meal, depends on how long you plan to be there. If it's a brief thing, you're only going to be there an hour, have a snack beforehand. You'll go in, maybe have a drink. The trio of terror, remember, tequila, gin, dry red wine. All three of those, I don't recommend you drink, but if you're going to drink, those are the three best forms of alcohol you can turn to that will do the least amount of damage to your waistline. Have a snack before you go in. You should be good to go. If you do want to eat, prepare a healthy dish. I have the Thanksgiving recipe book. I know some of the recipes are specific to Thanksgiving, but there are many that also are specific to Christmas, and you can bring them to just about any party. So you can download that. Again, I'm going to put that in the comments here, the link for you, in case you haven't had a chance to download and check that out yet. But that'll just give you some ideas. And I reference a lot of healthy recipe sites, and that's the reason I put it together for you guys. I'm not a great cook. I'm not a chef. I'm not somebody who's in that space, but what I can do is I can point you in the direction of good websites that have good, healthy recipes and recipes that are highly rated that will enable you to feel like you're having your cake and eating it too. Because one of the reasons that so many people fail on their weight loss journeys is their nutrition, and more specifically because they feel the need to go on a diet. When you think about the word diet, what do you think of? It's temporary. It's a short-term loss or cessation of eating or drinking certain things for a hopefully long-term gain. But the problem is, because of the way that all of us are taught to look at nutrition, that it's all about quantity over quality. That's bullshit. And that's why so many people fail. You may lose weight initially on a calorically restrictive diet, but after a little bit, you're going to plateau and you're going to have to make some food quality changes. And that's really difficult when you're in the process of starving yourself. So having recipes and having snacks that taste great, that are reminiscent of what you used to eat when you were a kid or before you started this journey is really going to be helpful to you, especially this time of year. So I'm going to be coming out with a Christmas guide. Don't worry, guys. That'll be out to you a week or so before Christmas here in 2017. I'm also going to give you kind of a New Year's guide. And for most New Year's parties that I've ever attended, maybe it's different for you. And if it is, please leave a comment here. Even if you're watching the recording, I know a lot of people are out of commission today. And for the rest of the week, it's Black Friday all over the world. People are doing a lot of their Christmas shopping today as well. But let me know how your New Year's parties are. Usually you go to a lot of catered events. There's just some more hors d'oeuvres, a lot of drinking, and that's pretty much what it is. So it's going to be more of a strategic guide in terms of what to stay away from, maybe what you can bring, but give me some ideas of what you've encountered from a food perspective if you regularly go to a New Year's party, whether it's with friends, family, or somewhere else. So let me know about that. But I'm going to come out with a couple of guides for you guys. And seasonally, as these holidays and these events pop up, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to show you because, again, I'm not a cook. I don't have all these recipes on hand, and I don't know how to make stuff from scratch. That's not the kind of person that I am. That's not something that I'm into. But the reason that I put these guides together is to show you that there are plenty of healthy, great recipes out there. There are plenty of good quality recipe websites out there that have great tasting, delicious recipes that are conducive to you and your health. So definitely go in prepared. Bring a dish with you if you want to eat there so you don't feel like you're being left out. For a lot of people, that's a mental block that they have. They don't want to feel like they're missing out or they're holding themselves back. And when you do something like that, and just human nature, you're going to give in. And you're not just going to give in and have a bite here, a bite there. You're going to give in hard. So going in with a healthy recipe is going to make all the difference. If you really want to bring something to the table, you're going to be at a holiday party between now and the end of the year for an extended period of time. And number two, you have to ask yourself, and we kind of gone over this maybe last week or was it 2 weeks ago, but you have to keep asking yourself, do I really want this? Is this really important to me? And let me tell you something. If it is important to you, regardless of what's going on, regardless of how fun the holiday party looks or how tempting those cookies are or whatever the case may be, if you really want this, you got to make some lifestyle changes. And the first couple of weeks of tweaking your nutrition and eating better quality stuff, it's not easy because over the years, you've most likely accumulated some food addictions to grains, processed foods that are loaded with artificial chemicals, preservatives, and sweeteners, and sugar. It takes a while, a couple of weeks usually, to really, really rid yourself of the cravings for these types of foods. Inevitably, it's going to change. Your palate's going to change. So if you ever eat that stuff in the future, it doesn't taste nearly as good. That happens to me all the time. If I'm like, I'll have a bite of this and I'll try it. I'll give you a perfect example. I was in Chicago a few weeks ago, and I went there pretty frequently in college. I dated a girl who lived there. And we would get deep dish pizza, and I loved it at the time. But then when I went back, I was like, I'll try it, and I did. And I got to tell you, it really wasn't that good. And it was from a place that I went to all the time when I was there. So it just goes to show you that your palate can change. And as a result, your cravings will go away, because if you disassociate this great feeling and this great taste from these foods, as your palate changes, as you wean yourself off those foods, you're going to be in much better shape. But if you find that you're reeling and that you really, really want something, you gotta just have a conversation with yourself in your mind. You don't have to say it out loud or look like a crazy person, but just ask yourself, do I really want this? Because if you do, I have a client yesterday, one of the few ones, by the way, but I had a client yesterday, I actually saw her this morning as well. She, one of the things I do with some of my private clients is I have them log their food in my Fitness Pal, and then they enable me to see their food diary, and I'll be like, great job, or yeah, we need to clean it up if they know what they're doing, or if they're new to the program and they inadvertently eat something that's not up to par, I'll give them a healthy substitute. So again, just like with the first tip that I gave you here, they can feel like they're not really missing out. And she ate well yesterday. I think she had turkey, she had green beans, and she had a couple of other non-starchy, non-sugary things that were there at Thanksgiving dinner. And that is the type of attitude, because she doesn't care about what other people think of her. She has a goal in mind. She's made progress just about every week. Very rarely has she not made progress, but even the weeks where she didn't necessarily make progress, she didn't gain anything, she just stayed the same. And guess what? The next week, it was like a double whammy. She lost twice as much weight as she usually does, and she lost a little bit more inch-wise than she usually does. But that's the type of attitude you need to have. You need to be persistent. You don't have to be perfect. Occasionally, you might have a sip of eggnog. You might have a cookie. But you know what? You got to nip it in the bud right there. And even if you have a bad experience, let's say you go to a holiday party and you binge eat and you binge drink and you wake up the next day feeling like shit, you gain 7 pounds. It's not 7 real pounds. You're going to get most of it out. Let's just say it in that respect. But you might completely derail your efforts. If you slip up, it happens. We're human. It's okay. Don't let it be a continual thing. This is the time of year where it does become a continual thing, because there is more temptation than usual. There's that huge consumerism mentality of we're going to spend above, we're going to eat well above our means, and we're going to eat things that we never usually eat because, oh, it's the holidays. That's just bullshit. It's a way to suck you in and have you spend more money on stuff like that. So if you want to survive the holiday season, just to rehash, 2 things you need to do. Number 1, you need to prepare. When you know a holiday party is coming up, again, you're going to know when it's coming up pretty soon, pretty well in advance, I should say, ahead of time. Prep. If you're, depending on how long you plan on being there, if you're going to be there for a few hours and you want to bring a dish, if it's that kind of party, great. Find a healthy recipe. I'm going to be having a Christmas guide, like I said, coming to you a week or so before Christmas. In the meantime, you can use a Thanksgiving recipe guide that I put together. I'm going to put the link to that in the comments below. There are a lot of holiday dishes. Some are specific to Thanksgiving, others aren't. But come prepared. If you're only going to be there for a little bit, in order to avoid eating appetizers and hors d'oeuvres, bring a healthy snack with you. A handful or 2 of raw organic nuts, seeds, as well as some low glycemic fruit. Have that literally just sitting in the car in the parking lot before you're heading in. Eat that right beforehand, and you should be fine. If you're gonna drink alcohol, the trio of terror, right? Tequila, gin, dry red wine, you'll be fine. And secondarily, if you find you're really struggling to stay on track, you have to have a serious conversation with yourself, whether it's at the location of the party, maybe it's before, whatever the case may be. But you got to ask yourself, do I really want this? If you find you're finding excuses to slip up left and right, I hate to bring it to you, you don't really want this, because if you did, you would find a way to get through it. If you're just starting your journey around now, obviously this is probably the toughest time of the year to start your weight loss journey, which is why a lot of people say screw it until New Year's. But that being said, you're all here for a reason. You're all in the permanent weight loss community for a reason. You want to lose weight for good. You want to keep it off. In order to do that, you have to make some changes. And in the very beginning, right as you begin to make those changes, your body is going to crave, again, the grains, the processed food, and the sugar-laden stuff that you're accustomed to. But trust me, once you get past that kind of inoculation phase, you're going to be fine. Your palate's going to change. Your cravings are going to go away. And if you ever revert back and you have a bite of something that you used to love, you're going to find it's often not going to taste nearly as good as it used to. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Again, if you're here in the States, happy Thanksgiving. And that's the holiday season's here, guys. It's time to get serious because, again, this is the toughest time of the year to stay on track. There's a lot more temptation than there is any other time. But trust me, I can do it. A lot of my clients do it. You guys can do it too. Hope you found this helpful. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and I'll talk to you next Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Get some questions in next week. I know it was the holiday yesterday, but let's get some questions in. I want to hear from you guys and what you guys want to know and how I can best help you. All right, have a good rest of the week. Take care.